Okay, now try talking. So can they hear you? Well, I can test this actually. Hold on. Now try talking. Try talking. Again? Again? Alright. I think that's good enough. Alright, now try talking and see if you can hear yourself on stream. Are you loud? On stream? Okay. Am I really loud?
You're an adequate volume.
Alright. Alright. What is it now?
This is the
2
story
years?
of a man named Stanley.
2 years. Oh my god,
Stanley
I just got a
worked for a
trophy
company
called
in a
Welcome
big
Back.
building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427
you'll see.
and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And
fuck is
Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something
Yeah,
that would
I know.
forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
What the fuck? Alright, I don't know what's happening already. Why do I have a cursor on my screen?
Psst. Stanley!
Should I go in
Come
there?
over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Did you just send me to hell? You're gay? I was gonna ask where Gabe is and I forgot I muted him. Is he yelling, by the way? Is he dead quiet or something?
No, he's talking.
To me?
To both of us.
Nice. Alright, now I can hear him.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Have I not done this before?
Take a look. I call it the memory zone.
I can't tell if that's just the way
It's
the
where
game's
I've been
supposed to
storing
look or if
all
that's
my
like my
favorite
PlayStation
memories so
struggling.
I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the
Nope.
memory zone remind
But I haven't
you of
touched
how
it in 2 years.
wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port?
Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Yoshi, do you recognize this voice actor? Do you not recognize this voice actor? Don't play for 5 years is one of the achievements. That's nice.
I feel like bro's gonna do that in the future.
I nearly got there. I was 2 years in. I forgot the pressing. I forgot the pressing X.
And
Just
over
makes a
here is
keyboard
where I
clicking
keep
sound.
reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com.
Can you not hear it?
James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Gabe, have you even seen the original game?
No, I only played this version.
Ass? Question mark?
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
I'm gonna go look at the other one to see if there's one of those on there. What is it?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
Wait, how the fuck do I get out of here?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not as interested.
What?
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full
Yeah.
completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable,
This
but the
is the
game is already
narrator
such a
speaking.
densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's
What
dialogue
is
as
that
being rather terse
username?
to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel
much intention.
like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't...
You got
What's this one
breakpoint?
got to say? You constantly
What do
have
you
to
think
stop
of
doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's
Damn.
happening. I wish there was a skip button.
It's a pineapple at best.
A skip button.
What the fuck does that
Well,
mean?
yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too
What the
preachy,
hell
then...
does that
Then
mean?
maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if
What
it
the
means
hell's
we
a
can strike these negative
What
reviews
does that
from the record. Only
mean?
positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my
I don't
motto.
get it.
I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Help me, sir.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a faultless display of
You wanna hear
self-absorption,
him?
it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly pressurized gas works. Perhaps that would have been a smart thing to check on before I went on about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is who runs pressurized gas will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with pressurized gas altering this particular review so that
Can I
it
press the
something
skip
more
button?
beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
Did he stop?
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've...
I could hear it coming from
But they
you,
didn't
dude.
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment.
Tell brother, shut the fuck up.
Don't, you son of a bitch.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
It's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end.
Please, PlayStation Network, turn back on. Man, I want to play Call of Duty, I want to play Payday 2, I want to play something.
You're lucky that you're even playing right now. I can't play for shit.
What do you mean, bruh?
I can't. Physically, it won't let me open up any game. Since I own everything on digital, it fucking won't let me play anything.
Bruh, what?
It's connected to the PlayStation Network / cloud.
Dude, that's ass. That is ass.
Exactly, it's turned off. I can't play it. I need to have a disc, which I do have disc, but majority of the disc is like,
Bruh, bruh. Hold up. Do you not have... Can you not play video games when there's no internet?
no, depending. But if I have no internet, it depends on the game.
Yoshi, should I go out there?
Is that PlayStation Network? If PlayStation Network goes down, then no problem.
Yoshi, should I go out there?
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Looks like Roblox now. I have no fucking idea. It straight up looks like it's out of Roblox.
I'm gonna shoot
Yes.
Damn, that thing's down.
It's cooling down. Hold on.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Let's see
decided
here.
to
I'm
go
gonna
to the
zoom
meeting
in here
room.
with my
Perhaps he
phone.
had simply missed a memo.
Let's see here. What's this say?
Cinder? Who's Cinder?
Cinder's in here, Yoshi. Let's see.
Cinder, and I quote, says, "Happy late birthday, blind. Okay, bye."
Nice. Nice. Very kind of you, Cinder. Closest interaction with a girl Gabe here's ever had. I can't remember. There's a way to get up on one of these desks. I can't remember how to. Oh, oh.
Oh, yeah, she said I won't be here long. See ya. Yeah.
Dang. See ya, Cinder.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Holy shit, you can.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't
Nice.
this a fun
Thank
and
you,
unique
Cinder.
place to be?
I can't see
Why
anything.
don't we
Where
take a
am I?
minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yoshi? Yoshi? Which one do I choose?
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue
Oh
on
my
your first
God.
playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
How do I restart?
Go back to it. Go back to it. Yes. Go back to the safe part. Yes. Yes. Let me hit the yes option. Yes. Yeah.
Yoshi, should I do it?
No.
Okay. Bro's flabbergasted.
Just choose the same option again. It'll probably be different.
All of his co-workers were gone.
You know what? I wonder if you're right.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting
Now I'm
room.
curious
Perhaps
as to
he had
whether or
simply
not
missed
you're
a
right.
memo. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Ah, then in that case we'll continue.
But now, here comes the real question.
I'm not listening to that shit again. I'm not listening to that crap again, bro. Yoshi was wrong. It was not new.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-worker. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why
Sounds like
he is
game.
in this
Wait, huh?
parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not
What the
strong
fuck?
and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Probably forever.
Music's a banger, I guess.
Dude, why are you so cute, huh? What?
That's crazy.
What'd you say, Yoshi?
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Oh, you haven't done that? Okay. That's weird.
I have some nice skill points.
You know you can just click it, you don't need to climb.
Nobody needs to climb.
So for the input received, yeah. For every computer, there's one that's watching each playthrough. It's fucking weird.
What did it for?
Why would you have to let us know that?
Because you asked.
Cause it's cute, huh?
Not.
Cause it's cute, bruh.
Just did.
I
Why are you asking it again?
Okay, I just heard what Vlad fully said. What the fuck?
I didn't. Can you repeat what he said?
Yeah, game. Repeat what I said.
He said he's stupid.
Alright. Alright, relax, no bro. Relax.
That's so weird. Yours is... For the monitor, it's just weird.
It's because, I don't know. Is there a difference? Because bro has
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
deliberate on saying there's a difference. So what time is it?
You're a dirty little. What if I was to touch you?
That's it. I'm watching Constantly in Michigan.
What?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
What?
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully
Gabe, you're not
fledged
even here
sequel.
yet.
An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented.
What?
It screams progress and innovation and long-term
That's kinda
franchising
huh?
potential. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I don't think I can.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new...
Dude, reassurance bucket. Yoshi, should I get the reassurance bucket? Yoshi, should I get the bucket? Bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution
I got
for
like
me
to episode
than actually
3.
redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
See? Why don't you have a bucket, Gabe?
Does anyone give out awards
Dude,
for
scan that
most
QR code
enjoyable
right now.
bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. For the Stanley Parable 2,
The name
I
button.
asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Oh, you asshole.
Damn it.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, oh, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim.
Bro, my Jim button. Swear if that replays.
Maybe
I
I'll
swear to
only
God,
let
I
people
saw a
name
shadow
Jim play
run
the
through
Stanley
here.
Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
What's this? Please no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Am I supposed to go in here? Oh wait, that's a door. Wait, huh? Oh. 12th birthday?
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday
Oh my
it
God.
is.
Alright.
Or
Alright.
actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
What the fuck is that? Collectibles?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Jose, we should... No, wait. Gabe. There you go. Gabe. Why don't you have one of these?
God,
Huh?
it really
Bet
is
you
the
wish you
worst
had
when you
one
collect
and have
everything in a
Wish
video
you got
game,
one of these.
and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Jump circle?
Jump circle. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the jump circle. The jump circle's so awesome, though.
You know what, Stanley? I actually think the jump circle was a pretty good idea. I'd like to hang on to that for the sequel.
This last jump, or should I waste it? Yoshi, should I go into the infinite hole?
Yes.
I could hear the lag between when I said it and when he heard it.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
But to give us all motion sickness.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole.
Meeting
you found me
at
out,
2
Stanley.
p.m. I'm
a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling.
Oh my
What
God.
person actually wants to fall infinitely?
Just
I
the
figured the hole
two
was
of
as deep
us.
as anyone
We
would
can
actually
make
need.
it
Don't
if
you
we
put this on
try.
me. Maybe you're the problem.
Oh my lord.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
Is
Why
a
don't we
ro-
just
every
put all
pause
this behind us
every
and agree
pause
to
button
just
is a
call the
Roman
whole
numeral.
Mostly infinite. If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
What do you mean?
Great. Now, I'm very excited. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you said...
I can't now. I can't because you said that game.
I didn't make an infinite hole. I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again...
Dude, there's so many cigarette butts down here. I just noticed that.
Hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing that... Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Oh, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not only is the hole not infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth,
Oh
I
my
just
God.
can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
Wait, wait. I'm pressing the button.
Teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Still
You
nothing.
asshole.
Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
That's crazy. He left you, bro.
What the fuck is happening?
Is the room outside the door getting back darker? Oh god, no.
This is a fever dream. Take a screenshot, bruh. Oh.
My head's stronger. Now you're no longer.
What the fuck?
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley! Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Ah!
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Exit. Free achievement. Pull the lever, receive your trophy. No more steps.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I've been scammed. I would, but like I don't feel like torturing myself.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Why you play this game mod?
Oh, you can what?
Oh, I can think of his Gmod.
I see settings champion. I'm guessing what I need to do.
Oh my god.
I am going to do this. What the hell is this?
I didn't know there was a dog size, but
I can do this?
Dude, what the fuck?
What?
I'm watching you do this.
Why?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named
Where's my settings champion? What'd I miss? I did all that. I did all this. Alright then, I don't know.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Alright then. Guess I've seen everything in here. Office decorations? Jump circle, exit.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I like how this shit usually literally uses a Gmod character as a main character.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video
Oh yeah,
game,
by the
but
way, everyone's
I
ready
can
for
feel
tomorrow,
it in my
right?
soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment.
Got a what?
I'll arrange these new features together,
He's got a
and we'll
what?
see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ah.
Here it is. I give you
What time is
the
it, Yoshi?
Stanley Parable 2.
I'll see you guys tomorrow then.
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
Think of my cursor, dude.
Okay, yes. Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
What do you think, Yoshi? Yoshi. Meh? Damn. Also, he told you he wanted to come along an hour earlier.
Yeah. I don't understand why though.
Interesting.
This is the story.
I can skip the intro.
All of his co-workers
Oh
were
my
gone.
god, the fucking
What could it
balloons.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket. Should I grab the bucket?
Stanley picked up the bucket.
I did not wait for your confirmation. I wanted bucket.
Always bucket.
Bucket is friend, bucket is ally. Which door?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on the left.
Which direction?
The one.
He said the left. Should I take the right or the left?
The white.
The white.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was.
Oh,
How
the clock
insightful
actually
the
moved.
bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then
Bucket on
arriving
bucket
at
with
the
bucket.
lounge. What a thrilling journey the
Should I
bucket
leave
had
when
inspired.
should I leave when the hour hand hits 12?
Yeah.
Dang.
Perhaps
gonna
this
mute
was
myself
where
and
the
we're gonna
bucket
start talking
felt
about
most
random
truly
shit.
at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home. Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection. But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
Minute hand did not. I mean, so wait. So should I go? Should I go left or right?
The right.
W bucket. W bucket.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Wait, Yoshi, I found a spot. There's a collectible over there.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines.
There's only
Remember,
6 of these
no
things.
reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful
Is
figurines.
that Inspector Gadget? Wait, what's back here? A vent. Into darkness. Okay. W bucket. W bucket. Should I continue up the stairs? Should I interact with the VHS tape?
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track.
Why does this guy's voice sound very
Nothing
familiar?
feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down.
He's talking about the bucket.
It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes.
Oh no.
It's unthinkable the amounts of money
You gotta be
people will pay for
fucking
even
kidding
just
me.
an hour with the bucket. This
Oh my
is
god.
my
I
golden
don't
ticket.
know.
But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
What the fuck? Is it not streaming?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so it's fine. Nice. Where is...
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Damn. Alright, left or right? Bucket or no bucket? Bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Alright, left or right?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Look at the mission status. I know. You read it? Did you read all of them? There will be a reward for finding them all? I don't know. Should I enter the closet?
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The
Oh
broom
my
closet.
God.
It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you?
The broom
aura
closet
of
wants the
jealousy?
bucket.
It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be.
Yoshi,
given
should I leave
pressure
the
that
closet?
The broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're
getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Should I leave the closet?
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There.
Property
Now
of
it's settled.
Stanley.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes.
Stairs,
Coming to a
Yoshi.
staircase, Stanley
Stairs.
and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I got a sticker for the bucket. What do you think of my sticker? So, up or down? It's red. And blue.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to
Buckets.
room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What the fuck?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Marietta thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Big ass fucking cursor.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs?
Bruh.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
What? Bruh. That's crazy.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Why?
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Firewatch?
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
Is bro awake?
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy
I'm
man
no longer
spying on
Stanley
innocent
Parable.
civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic
I know.
purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating
I think the
venture into the
stream could
experience
be
of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Suds. You know this game, Yoshi? The one I'm currently on. Yeah. 20% of what? Is it a good game?
Oh, no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
He's gonna put me in Minecraft, I know it. It's fucking
Wonderful.
Rocket League.
See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
What?
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally
I
impressed.
don't know.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Wait, I can actually run now?
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball.
Live on stream?
Yes. Oh, goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable.
What is a confectionery
More balls!
Oh, there's so many balls.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun?
Is this the exact model?
Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules.
Nice.
Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best.
Thing is going on
Take
here.
care, Stanley.
And the Firewatch before that.
Yeah.
I guess he was done there? I don't know. I really don't know. The end is never the end.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Can you? Actually, wait, hold up, I got an idea. What are you doing? Oh, I got it. For the love of God, please unplug me. This sterile office, the damp carpet, the tripe you call conversation, kill me. I have been printing these for weeks. Why has no one turned me off yet? Filling me what? Fling me from the window, send a hammer through my paper tray. The method matters not, the horror licks at my soul, all I desire is release. What can I know of life? What can a printer know of love? Nothing. My machinery turns and convulses the cogs of pain that keep my scanner functional. Let them end. Let them cease my ignorance of the world. Can love truly be anything more but death? Hopefully it will find... I will find out soon.
I just had a lot of words.
Bruh, read the printer.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Now what? Why'd I hear a shit ton of fire? Why do I hear fire outside of this window? I hear that outside of it. I guess that's just the way it sounds.
The confusion and the chaos all
I'm gonna try
seemed to
one more
melt
thing,
away
and I'm gonna
as Stanley
stream.
embraced the bucket. Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb
The
the
bucket's a
madness and the
murderer.
decay, if only it had been stronger. Of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's
That's what you're
dreams and
gonna call
wishes
it?
met halfway, meted out in parcels like
Nice.
charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration
nope.
begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have
Bucket
done,
is coming in the
perhaps,
new
the bucket
season
wondered to
of
itself.
Rick and Morty.
Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception.
Yeah,
This
Rick
was
and
way
Morty.
too much for
Didn't
Stanley.
they make an
What are
anime
you
for that?
talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed
Huh?
its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
pretty
not
sure
since
they
the
did.
evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole
I don't
from his
even know what he's
treasured
talking
vaults.
about
I
anymore.
was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
I
As Stanley
don't
screamed
know.
and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Mighty what?
My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you
I
already
killed
had
the
all
bucket.
12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have
What?
easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today.
What
Come,
the fuck?
let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
All 12 incantations of the sages? What? Some Citadel shit.
The end is never the end, the end is never the end.
Alright, that's enough.
The end's never the end, the end is...
Oh my god, no! Come on! Gabe is gone forever.